Hello, I am Seamless, and this is the 37th 40K tutorial. And this is a sound requested by LolRobYay. LolRob_yay. This is a sound by a dude named K-391, who, upon listening to this track, I discovered he was actually following my SoundCloud. How cool is that? Anyway, this is what I got. This is the leady saw thing, but there's some coolness about how I approach this. So, the basics of a saw are that you just have a bunch of different voices and they're pitched differently and they're phased differently. That's kind of like the sort of the meat of it. But why does that work? The reason why this creates what we like is because it causes a difference in each of the voices, causes phase cancellation in the higher frequencies, which give us a sort of like the sort of washy feeling in the sound. That if you understand that to be the goal, then in Harmor especially, there's a lot of things we can do to sort of help that on its way. In addition to that, there's actually sort of a snappy, kind of like plucky percussiveness to it. And I accomplish this in two ways. On the B part, it's actually just a pluck. A very, 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 very sharp pluck over the whole spectrum. I kind of moved it around and messed with it a little bit. Also turned off ramping on either side so that there's no just pure purely hitting it. And then on the A part, I'm executing a pitch slide from all the way up to all the way middle. Very, very fast. And that's pretty great. It's pretty dope. I'm using 4 voices on unison with a middling level of phase and pitch, a whole bunch of panning. In harmonic use and pitch, I am increasing it pretty steadily up to the higher frequencies. This actually doubles as what would essentially be white noise on the higher frequencies, because as it increases differences, the phase cancellation gets faster and faster at the higher frequencies, and it just becomes a big old mess. Like white noise, I have a little bit of prism, just a tiniest bit, which again adds to that idea of creating the spectral difference in the voices. And I have the phaser on in frequency mode, which when it's in frequency mode, instead of applying the shape to volume changes, it applies it to pitch change. So I'm using that to also create differences in the voice count. If I wanted to be really special, what I could do is I go edit the articulator and go into unison index mapping and change the width of the phaser for each individual voice. Just to add even more voice difference and then more spectral difference and overall differences entirely. I am distorting it using log distortion with a pretty high distortion, which works this way just because this is actually pretty high sound. Sound of bass. Although it works pretty awesome as a bass, doesn't it? Oops, it vanished. But because it's a lead, we still get the same sort of clean, leady, solid sound because there's not really there's not as many harmonics to work with as if it were actually a bass. A little bit of reverb and a whole bunch of compression. Now, a lot of the sound also has to do with how you play it. If you listen to the song, it doesn't just play other notes. There's like slide notes. There's also a bunch of volume modulation to get the sharpness kind of deal in it. But that's all just like arrangement deal. The sound is actually rather straightforward. I'm also using harmonic randomness on the overall part A, which again causes more spectral difference. It's actually really hard to tell I'm doing that because of everything else is causing all the spectral differences. And the more sources from which you pull your spectral voice differences, the more sort of unique and smooth and special your saw will sound. There's lots of ways to do this. There's lots of ways that a lot of plugins do it, and this is just one sort of particular method of doing it in Harmor. Plus an epic pitch slide to give it a really sharp sort of attack. This patch will be available for download in the description of this video, along with the original track that you can listen to sort of gauge how well I did it. If you would like to make a request, the link to the Reddit thread where I am taking requests is in the description of this video as well. So make a request there and nowhere else. If you have any questions about any of this, let me know. And as usual, have a nice day.